Our next guest is the founding organizer of the Jewish Collaborative of San Diego. Please welcome for the first time, Rabbi Josh Burrows.
There he is.
Hello.
The rabbi's here.
If we say for the first time, does that mean that there's going to be many appearances after this?
There
We
could
don't know.
be.
She didn't say first of many.
We'll
She
see how
said
this
the
one
first
goes.
time.
We'll see how this one goes.
Josh, thank you
Yes.
so much for coming today. Really appreciate it. You're doing some amazing
My
things.
pleasure.
Yeah, you're the first rabbi I've ever met. So I'm telling people you're my rabbi. Is that okay?
That's fine. I'm not the first rabbi I ever met, but it's nice to be the first rabbi you ever met. Yeah.
So the Jewish Collaborative of San Diego, that's actually your synagogue.
That's my synagogue.
You started that.
I started it with my wife, and the help of a number of truly incredible leaders. We've been really lucky and blessed to have the people come on who've come on. It's been very special. Very special.
That's got to be some kind of journey from the idea of
Yeah.
we should start our own thing
imagine.
Yeah.
to actually making it happen. I mean, tell me a little bit about that, what you learned and what that experience was like.
Some kind of journey is about right. In a way, we kind of backed into it. You know, I mostly grew up in New York, and to be Jewish in New York, you would never think about starting your own synagogue because, like I always say, you can't pick up a rock and throw it without hitting a Jew or hitting a synagogue in any direction. And so you just would never think of building a synagogue because the place is saturated. But we found ourselves out here and in a situation where we were kind of trying to figure out what to do next. And we looked around, and lo and behold, we felt like the place was right and the time was right in our lives to kind of give it a shot. The problem was that the way that typical synagogues work are, you know, they're facing some pretty significant challenges this day and age.
Yeah.
And we thought if we were going to try to open our own synagogue, we wanted to do it a little bit different. And so we came up with an idea and started sort of running with it.
Is the
And
idea the
it's
collaborative part?
Yeah, actually, originally it was a cooperative.
Cooperative.
Judaism in particular is facing some fascinating challenges right now. And the challenges are sophisticated. They're hard to understand. But the long and the short of it is we believe that synagogues weren't organizing themselves in the right sort of direction to empower its members. They had organized themselves like mid-sized businesses. And as such, members of the congregations didn't have any opportunity to kind of create experiences for themselves. So we were looking for a type of model where, you know, members could create experiences for themselves, and what we came up with was the collaborative model. And so originally, JCOSD was the San Diego Jewish Co-op. We were going to be a cooperative. And we started organizing as a cooperative. We started, you know, writing bylaws as if we were going to be a cooperative. And then we found out that the state of California has an interesting legal statute that you can't actually be a cooperative unless you're growing something or selling something that's edible or smokable, or both edible and smokable, depending on what format it's in. And
you guys weren't involved in
we
that,
weren't
so-
involved in that line of business as a synagogue. And so we ended up choosing the word collaborative instead of cooperative. So what we are
That was a big fork in the road, wasn't it? Because you could have gone.
It was very interesting. We ended up solving some interesting problems that we were starting to face, because as a cooperative, we would have to revenue share and debt share. So at the end of the year, if we were kind of like in the plus on the revenue side, then that would be wonderful. We could split that evenly among our congregants. Everybody gets a penny, and now we've broken even on a year. But if we're in debt, then we'd have to figure out how to share the debt as a community. And that felt, it made us all very uncomfortable. And so, but we were stuck in it because that's what a cooperative does. And then as soon as we couldn't be a cooperative anymore, it kind of solved that problem for us. So it's actually been helpful.
One problem solved.
Yeah, exactly.
Many more
Check
to
that
go.
off the list, yeah.
So as rabbi, I imagine that people come to you, and you've got an extensive education. Tell us really quickly about your education in
Well, I went to Harvard Law School after that. It's like any other grad school. So I graduated high school. I went to Ithaca College in Ithaca, New York. As a New Yorker, regular bachelor's degree, and then Rabbinical school is graduate school. And so I took a couple of years between undergrad and grad school, and applied to and got accepted to a place called Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion, which is a rabbinical school. They have 4 campuses worldwide. One's in Jerusalem, 3 stateside, one in New York, one in Cincinnati, and one in LA. And so I went to my first year rabbinical school in Jerusalem, and then 4 more years in New York. And when all was said and done, I have a master's degree in Hebrew literature, basically, and then the rabbinical degree, which is sort of like 1 or 2 steps below a doctorate.
So well-educated in Judaism. Let's say that. Can we say
why
that?
not? Sure.
Okay.
You know what it is? In rabbinical school, I learned more about what I don't know. I learned how to find out things that I don't know, and I learned that there's a lot that I don't know. That's the gist of it. Yeah.
How much of it is about seeking truth versus teaching Scripture?
None of it about any of that.
Not about any of that.
That's a joke. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
It is about that. A lot of it's about that, but it also depends on what your particular journey is. Because for some people, what they're looking to do is they're looking to really connect themselves to a cultural truth. You want to be able to tell a story about your lineage, right? And so that's where it's at for a lot of folks. But for a lot of folks, it's being able to connect yourself to the words of the Bible or whatever's going on. I kind of define spirituality as the way in which any single person connects to a concept that's larger than themselves. And depending on what that concept is, that's going to define what your search is.
Okay,
So,
makes sense. But now as rabbi, you have people who come to you and ask you all these questions, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Careful what you wish for, right? Because now everyone comes to you, they expect you to have the answers.
Well,
So
yes.
in that regard, there's some really big things that are going on out there in the world of religion.
Yeah.
We have extremism now. That's something that's a big deal. A lot of it seems to be Islamic extremism. There is some Christian extremism too.
There's extremism everywhere, unfortunately.
I haven't heard much about the Jewish extremists. I'm sure they
haven't.
exist somewhere.
Yeah.
There's somewhere they're out there.
Yeah.
But what do you do when someone comes to you and says, Rabbi, there's all these bad things going on in the world in the name of religion. People want to kill us. They don't even know us.
Yeah.
How do you guide someone through that thought process as a human being in this climate?
We are right now at a perfect storm of doubt against the world of faith. We're experiencing it from kind of all angles. On one hand, there's an incredible amount of doubt to be found in just the current events of what's going on. When religion can inspire, when just religion in general can inspire a person to kill another person, which it does so often, well, it's like, what does that say about religion? And that's one end of the attack that is happening against people who want to believe in something larger than themselves. Even beyond terrorism, there are challenges in just the narrative and the way that we talk about faith. The way that we think about it now, it's almost like you've got 2 choices. You either believe that Adam and Eve are real, and therefore you can be a person of faith, or you don't believe that Adam and Eve is real, and then you have to just drop the whole thing. You have to drop all of it. And the truth is, it's a lot more sophisticated than that. It's like a lot more, you can be more intellectual about faith than what that type of argument offers.
I was going to ask you, if you say, I don't know, does that mean you're not spiritual?
I think I don't know is the essence of faith. See, that's the thing of it, right? Because you don't stand at the base of Mount Kilimanjaro and go, I'm enormous. You stand at the base of Mount Kilimanjaro and you go, I am so insignificant and tiny, I can't believe it. Like, how am I even alive? I'm so small. And that's the experience that faith is supposed to give you, because God is so much bigger than that, right? And so to claim knowing as a person of faith is something that, for me at least, is beyond my ability to really understand how that works. To me, the essence of faith is that it pulls along with it intense doubt, right? But because of my faith, I also can see the miracle in things. I can recognize that I'm nothing but, this is from a Jewish text, I can recognize that I'm nothing but dust and ashes, and that's all I am, is just a piece of dust on a piece of dust floating through the infinite,
Dust.
Dust. Yeah, exactly.
It's true.
It's true. And yet, the mathematical probability of my existence is so tiny that you have to say it's miraculous at the same time. So it's like we walk this gamut of like the whole world was created just for us, and we're here to experience these amazing things, and we're nothing. We're just nothing. And to me, that's like the essence of faith. The problem is, like anything else, every institution is susceptible to unhealthy personality, to greed, to cult of personality, and to corruption, certainly, and some really terrible things. And so in the same way that you see what happens, to scientific processes when it becomes about profit, you also see what happens to the efforts of religion when it becomes about politics and power and money and things like that. And it's never good, unfortunately.
Well, Rabbi Josh Burrows, thank you
Yes.
so much for your time today.
Oh my gosh.
We will be having you back.
Did we solve all the world's problems in 7 minutes?
We
We
did.
scratched the surface. At
We
least.
scratched the surface of the world's
Hey,
problems. That's all
continue
it
your
takes.
great work in
Thank you.
advancing religious studies
Oh, thank you.
along with the
will.
culture and with the times, because I think that's extremely
Yeah.
important for the future
I look forward to
of
it.
faith.
I look forward. And next time I'm going to wear a red shirt.
You should do that.
Yeah.
And stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.